The Interstate 80, or the I-80 as it is more often known, runs from San Francisco, California to Teaneck, New Jersey. Between these 2 points lies some of the country's most harsh and lifeless stretches of road. One such barren region can be found in northern Nevada, in a portion of the freeway known as the Big Lonely. There are times when someone driving along this road would only see the desert speckled with tumbleweeds blowing past. This tragic nickname was given to this section of the freeway as a result of its environmental contrast to the bustling transcontinental artery that is the interstate. Sadly, a number of unsolved deaths and disappearances have occurred alongside this Nevada roadway. One such cluster of mysterious deaths, previously unlinked by both police and media alike, seems to center around a young woman with auburn or strawberry blonde hair. This previously unlinked commonality was first found and reported to case leads by this channel. Such a report has caused new speculation amongst authorities that an elusive serial killer may be to blame for at least 6 brutal murders. A killer who is, to this day, unidentified and still at large. This video is generously sponsored by Native. I've actually been using Native since 2017, so you cannot imagine my surprise when they offered to sponsor our video. With Native, it's a relief to be able to address the common yet ever awkward issue of odor without putting things like aluminum or parabens into my body. Native deodorant is vegan and it's also cruelty-free. Native offers 72-hour odor protection, so you can live your best life while still feeling fresh and clean. I remember the days I could only buy this stuff online, as it was so coveted. But the world has caught on, and now you can find Native deodorant on shelves in stores nationally. Since then, they've introduced so many new scent profiles, as well as a sensitive baking soda-free formula, which is made with coconut oil and magnesium oxide that's derived from the Dead Sea. Native has a huge range of scents to please anyone. This time, I picked the romantic-sounding lavender and rose scent, and then got my go-to scent of aloe and green tea in sensitive formula, and tried the sultry charcoal blend, which I've been loving. They now even have a plastic-free deodorant. It's earth-friendly and 100% plastic-free. 3 deodorants would normally be $39, but if you use our link below and the code MERC, that's M-E-R-C, you'll get them for only $27. That's over 33% off. Thank you so much to Native for sponsoring this video. On July 14, 1972, a rancher discovered the naked, decaying body of an unidentified female. She was found posed in a distinctly cross-like position. The victim's body was dumped 8 miles south of I-80, 35 miles east of the town of Elko. Located roughly half a mile west of Star Valley Road, her body was discarded not far from Dennis Flats Road, which connects Hollick and Star Valley. Because of the proximity to Star Valley, the unnamed woman was nicknamed the Star Valley Jane Doe. In the background of official crime scene photos, Lamoille can be seen to the south, while part of the town of 71 Ranch can be seen to the east. Locals state that someone unfamiliar with the area would have had a hard time locating it due to its remote location. After the body was sent to the coroner's office, it was discovered that the victim had died months prior, the consequence of a homicide. She had suffered injuries to her left cheek and neck from gunshots fired from a .22 caliber handgun. The unknown woman was described as Caucasian between the ages of 17 and 25. She was between 105 and 115 pounds and stood at around 5 feet 2 inches tall. She had shoulder-length, dirty blonde hair with a reddish hue. It was noted that this distinctive strawberry blonde was the victim's natural hair color based on the hair found on other parts of her body. Her eye color was unknown due to the state of decomposition. She had 2 visible scars, which the coroner at the time hoped would assist in her identification, one from an appendectomy on the lower right quadrant of her abdomen, and the other on the outside of her right knee. Despite these distinctive remarks, no one came forward to claim her body, and to this day she has not been given her true name back. According to reports, a dark blue Volkswagen Beetle with Tennessee plates was seen in the area where Jane Doe was on either July 7th or July 8th, 1972. The Volkswagen was believed to have been a vehicle that was reported stolen and was never recovered. Just 17 miles away from the location the Star Valley Jane Doe was found 3 months prior, a local hunter found the remains of another strawberry blonde woman, this time in a shallow ditch in rural Elko County, the same county in which the previous victim was found. Morbidly enough, her torso was never recovered. Investigators believed she died between 1 and 3 months before being found, placing her death between July 8, 1972 and September 2nd. In a similar fashion to the previous Jane Doe, her remains were found months after her homicide. She was found in a shallow ditch and covered with dirt and dead willows. While her partial remains were sent to the FBI for analysis, no cause of death was ever determined. Oddly enough, the date range would match up perfectly with the range of the time of death of the previous woman, as well as with the sighting of the blue Volkswagen, which was thought to be stolen. No further details have been released in regards to the potential connection. The unknown female was given the moniker the Devil's Gate Jane Doe. The medical examiner believed her to be around 18 years of age at the time of her death, but noted that she may have been slightly younger. Recovered at the scene was a pair of women's high-heeled clog shoes with 4-inch heels and the words Lafisa inscribed upon them. Also found was a white nylon stocking, as well as a portion of a sweater in the form of a blue acrylic fiber. The next victim of what many now believe may be a serial killer was found on July 16, 1974, by tourists in a dry wash in Elko, Nevada. The body was found approximately 33 miles north of Wells, where the California Trail runs into US Highway 93. She, like the others, had auburn or red hair and was in a similar age range as the last 2 victims, likely between the ages of 16 and 25 years. Her cause of death was found to be strangulation, however few details exist beyond this, as her body had then been burned beyond recognition. As with the others, she remained unidentified, a tragic shock to so many in the community who could not believe that another murdered young woman would go without a name. With the hope that answers would eventually come, she was called the Thousand Springs Jane Doe. 4 months later, on June 11, 1990, another red-headed woman was found in the same county. Given the nickname the Elko County Jane Doe, this victim was found partially decomposed 2 miles south of Wendover. Her body was dumped near mile marker 52, approximately 975 feet west of the US 93. Police reports described the body as visually that of a Caucasian female. She was positioned laying face up in the brush, fully clothed. She wore a purple Sears brand polyester pantsuit, size 18, and had on a white bra and underwear. Also discovered near her remains was a tattered, faded, sleeveless t-shirt with a label which read Lord James. She wore purple socks and suede boots. Also recovered from the partially decomposed body was a Timex quartz watch with a white faceplate. Notably, this watch utilized Arabic numerals as opposed to Roman numerals. Her estimated age was older than that of the others previously recovered, with the medical examiner estimating her age to be between 45 and 65 years. Standing at 5 foot 3 inches tall, she, like the others, was petite. Noticeably, she had red hair and brown eyes. And while her age range was markedly older than that of the other Redhead Jane Does, such a singular characteristic does not necessarily rule her out within a pattern of victims. On November 16, 1993, a female's naked body was discovered in a sagebush near the Shafter exit of Interstate 80. She had been shot twice, once in the chest and once in the back with a small caliber gun, possibly a .22, as was used on previous victims. One of the bullets pierced her heart. The medical examiner's report noted the young woman's face was severely bruised. She was estimated to have been dumped 5 to 6 days prior to being discovered. The victim was found laying on her back, her arms spread out to her side in the shape of a cross, with her legs slightly parted. The killer may have purposefully posed the body. Detectives found drag marks on the ground from the victim's heels. Tire tracks near the body indicated that the killer's vehicle was either a pickup truck or a van. Investigators believe the victim was killed in another location and dumped at the off-ramp. The victim was discovered 50 miles away from the location of the body of the Star Valley Jane Doe. Well, the Star Valley Jane Doe murder and the murder of the 1993 victim had occurred over 2 decades apart. The similarities between them and the previous victims found within those 2 decades raised alarm bells. Both of the unidentified young white females had been in their 20s and had bore the unique description of having reddish, dirty blonde hair, an alarming pattern that has stayed consistent throughout the decades of the Jane Does who were found. Both victims were naked when they were discovered, and both had injuries from what detectives say was a small caliber handgun. Interestingly enough, although some reports do not mention the exact position in which the bodies were found, multiple reports describe many of the victims' presentations as being similar to that of the shape of a cross. In 2009, isotope testing on a hair sample indicated that the 1993 victim had lived much of her life in the Southwest, including Southern California, New Mexico, and possibly Arizona. For the last 7 months of her life, likely between April and November of 1993, she lived in Lincoln County, Nevada, near the town of Afton. Autopsy reports showed that she suffered from and was being treated for endometriosis, and that she'd given birth at least once. She had a 2-inch by 4-inch burn scar or birthmark on her right calf. Her teeth were noted to be in excellent condition, except for one tooth, which was in the process of getting a root canal. Notably, for the purposes of identification, the coroner pointed out that she still had all of her teeth, including her wisdom teeth, which were impacted and had never been removed. Her fingernails were painted pink and looked to have been professionally done at a salon. Alcohol and marijuana were found in her system. Her earlobes were each pierced once, although she was not wearing earrings nor any other jewelry. Between the presentation of her dental work being in process and the presentation of the victim's nails being professionally done, police did not believe the woman to be homeless, and therefore expected to find a matching missing persons report. But after combing through reports, detectives were surprised to find that nobody had reported a young female matching that description as missing. Her information was uploaded to national databases, but to no avail. In 2009, the primary investigator on the case, alongside other detectives from that fated area, gathered to discuss the possible connection between the Star Valley Jane Doe and the Shafter Jane Doe. However, the results of this meeting have never been publicly released. There's also speculation that both cases are related to the Great Basin murders, which took place between 1983 and 1996. These murders took place in Wyoming and its surrounding states. Dale Wayne Eaton has been named as the suspect in those cases and is known to have past ties to Nevada, most specifically to Elko County. However, all 5 Elko cases were never considered officially related. Until now, there's no indication that they have ever been tied to either the Great Basin murders nor the killer Dale Wayne Eaton. Local authorities have been alerted as to the similarities between the cases. The makers of this documentary theorized that the gap between the killings of the Star Valley Jane Doe and the 1993 Jane Doe could be explained by the killer enacting his reign of terror in other states, primarily Wyoming. Another possibility between the decades-long gap in what is otherwise a consistent MO may be due to the fact that the killer found himself incarcerated during that period of time, and when released, the killing continued. All the cases are still active and unsolved, despite such a long-held belief on many of the investigating officers' behalves, along with local rumors of an alleged long-haul I-80 serial killer. No broader cross-municipality investigation has been initiated, although the FBI says it's looking into it. All cases remain active and open. If you have any information regarding the identity or fate of these young women, or if you believe others lost in a similar time frame may belong on this list, please contact the Elko County Sheriff's Office at 775-738-3421. Tips can also be called in to the Elko County Coroner's Office at 775-738-8936. In these uncertain times, a special thanks to all of our patrons for their continued support. You can find us on Patreon at patreon.com/Merc07 or just search Patreon Merc.